Hello and welcome to today's episode. This episode deals with the system of accounting for labor. The episode also highlights the important methods of wage payment. In addition, it also throws some light on the accounting system for idle time and for overtime. I am Amrita Ghoshkumar and the subject specialist for this episode is Dr. Tarannum Amir, PhD in marketing and currently teaching in Satyavati College, University of Delhi. This episode is possibly the most important chapter of cost accounting, that is, accounting for labor. Introduction. Labor is another important element of the cost. Labor may be direct or indirect. Labor which participates directly in the actual production is known as direct labor, whereas indirect labor does not participate directly but assists the direct labor. Accounting and control over labor costs. Labor is one of the most important elements of cost, which constitutes 25 to 30% of the total cost of the product. It is necessary to have a control over labor costs. This can be done by the proper utilization of labor. Labor control may be defined as a system which ensures proper employment and utilization of workers. It is the responsibility of the management to control idle time, unnecessary overtime, and high labor turnover. In a big organization, generally there are 5 departments for accounting and control of labor costs. Number 1, the personnel department. This department is also known as the human resource department, which is headed by a personnel manager. It is the duty of the personnel manager to recruit, select and train efficient workers. Besides, this department has to employ the right person for the right place. 2 important records which are used in connection with the recruitment and placement of workers are the labor placement requisition and employees history card. Now let us look at the labor placement requisition. This is a written request which is sent by different departments to the personnel department for recruiting of personnel. After receiving it, the personnel department will check its own records to find out whether the department has required number of employees or not. Afterwards, it will take the necessary steps to recruit the required number of personnel. Number 2, the employees history card. It is the responsibility of the personnel department to keep the record of each employee. The card on which the record is kept is known as the employee's history card. This card contains all the details of the employees like their name, address, department, date of joining, name of the past employer, the wage rate and so on. Number 2, the Engineering and Work Study Department. This department is responsible for controlling the methods of production as well as working conditions. Preparation of plans for each job, job analysis, job studies, job evaluation, determination of wage rates, etc. are some of the important functions of the Engineering and Work Study Department. Time study. Time study is the technique of determining the standard time of performing a particular job. In such cases, 10 to 12 observations are taken and then an average time is computed. Motion study. Motion study is related with the determination of standardized methods of performing different tasks. This method involves the identification of the best method of performing a particular task. Job analysis. Job analysis is the process through which information about the job is studied and collected. In the words of Terry, job analysis is the process of critically examining the components of a job, both separately and in relation to the whole, in order to determine all the conditions and duties. Job evaluation. The term job evaluation has been defined by Flippo as a systematic and orderly process of determining the worth of a job in relation to other jobs. Merit rating. Merit rating is the process through which employees' performance, both qualitative and quantitative, is assessed. This assessment is made by a supervisor or by any other competent person. The main purpose of merit rating is to ascertain the suitability of the worker to a particular job. The difference between merit rating and job evaluation. Number 1, job evaluation is the process through which the worth of the job is determined, whereas merit rating is the process through which the individual employee is assessed. Number 2, job evaluation evaluates the job, whereas merit rating evaluates the person. Number 3, the main purpose of job evaluation is to find out the worth of the job as compared to other jobs, whereas merit rating is done to take decisions like an increase in pay, transfers, promotions, etc. Number 3, the timekeeping department. The timekeeping department is responsible to record the time spent by workers in the organization or factory and the time spent by worker in each operation or production. Therefore, the timekeeper has to maintain 2 sets of records, that is, attendance time records and job time records. Attendance time records show the total time spent by the workers in the factory. There are different methods of recording attendance time, like the attendance register, token method, time recording, clock method, and so on. Job time records show the actual time spent by the worker on the different operations or job. The main purpose of this record is to find out the time taken by a worker to complete a particular job. Daily timesheet, weekly timesheet, job card, combined time and job card are some of the methods of recording the job time. Number 4, the payroll department. The payroll department is responsible to pay salaries or wages to the employees of the organization. Besides, this department is also responsible to compute all the deductions to be made from the salaries of the employees. It has to perform certain functions. Number 1, it maintains the records of every employee, showing therein the name, the date of appointment, his nature of work, the rate of wages, and so on. Number 2, it computes ordinary wages as well as overtime wages for every worker. Number 3, it receives the time cards, piecework cards, etc. from time office and other various departments. Number 4, it verifies the time recorded in daily time card. Number 5, it prepares the payroll for each department. Number 6, it also summarizes the various contributions of the employees towards Provident Fund, life insurance, medical insurance, and so on. Number 7, it maintains a permanent payroll record for each employee. Payroll accounting. Generally, payroll accounting is considered as a part of the financial accounting. The main function of payroll accounting is to calculate the gross wages and net wages earned by each worker. For the purpose of calculating gross wages and net wages, payroll and pay slips are prepared. payroll is a record of the gross wages earned by each worker for a specific wage period, the deductions therefrom, and the net wages payable to the workers. Payslip is a statement which shows gross wages, deductions and net wages payable to the workers. It is actually a copy of the payroll which is given to the workers in advance of the actual payment of wages. Now let us look at how prevention of fraud happens in wage payment. Some of the common frauds found in payment of salaries or wages are inclusion of dummy workers in the payroll, inclusion of more working hours, omission of deductions, fraud in payment of bonus and overtime, and so on. In order to avoid such frauds, a proper system of payment of wages should be followed. Number 1, proper time recording system should be followed. Number 2, job cards and the time cards should be duly checked. Number 3, a system of cross-check should be employed in the organization. Number 4, wage sheet should be signed by all the persons who are involved in preparation of it. Number 5, all deductions should be checked properly. Number 6, the person involved in the distribution of wages should not be involved in the preparation of wage sheets. Number 7, wages to the workers should be paid in the presence of the departmental head. The Cost Accounting Department. The Cost Accounting Department is responsible to record separately the entries related to wages. This department is also responsible for comparing the actual labor cost and standard labor cost and show the causes of any variance to the management. Labor turnover. Labor turnover is the rate of displacement of the employees due to resignation, retirement or retrenchment. There are various factors which are responsible for labor turnover. Some of the unavoidable factors are illness, accident, death, marriage, particularly in the case of women workers, personal betterment and so on. On the other side, avoidable factors include lack of proper facilities, lack of a healthy atmosphere in the factory, ill treatment, etc. Measurement of labor turnover. Labor turnover may be measured from the following methods. Now let us look at the measurement of labor turnover. Labor turnover may be measured by some rules. Number 1, the separation rate method. This method is very common. Under this method, labor turnover is measured by dividing the total number of separations during a period by average number of workers on the payroll during the same period. The formula for calculating labor turnover under this method is labor turnover rate is equal to number of separations in a period divided by the average number of workers into 100. Number 2, replacement rate method. Under this method, only actual replacement of labor irrespective of number of persons leaving the firm is taken. In this method, if the workers are employed because of expansion of the business, they are not included. Labor turnover rate is equal to number of replacements in a period divided by the average number of workers in a period into 100. Number 3, the flux rate method. Under this method, both the methods, that is separation and replacement methods, are taken into consideration. Labor turnover rate is equal to number of separations plus number of replacements divided by the average number of workers in the period into 100. Now let us look at the measures to minimize labor turnover. Labor turnover is not a very good sign as it adversely affects the efficiency of the labor as well as the profitability of the firm. Labor turnover may be minimized if proper steps are taken. Number 1, every worker should be given the right job at the right time. Number 2, proper facilities should be provided to the workers. Number 3, all systems and procedures regarding selection, training, etc. should be standardized on scientific lines. Number 4, proper treatment should be given to all employees. Number 5, healthy and a congenial atmosphere should be maintained in the factory. Costs of labor turnover. 1. Preventive costs. Preventive costs are incurred to make the worker satisfied. Preventive cost includes cost of medical services, cost of welfare services, cost of pension, cost of gratuity, and so on. Number 2. Replacement costs. Replacement costs include loss of output due to delay in obtaining labor, cost of training new workers, cost of tool and machine breakages, and so on. Now let us look at the treatment of labor turnover costs. Preventive costs should be charged as a works overhead item and apportioned to different departments on the basis of the number of workers engaged in each department. In the case of replacement costs, if the cost has arisen due to a short-sighted policy of the management, then it should also be charged as a works overhead item and apportioned to different departments on the basis of the number of workers engaged in each department. But if the cost arises on account of the fault of a particular department, then it should be directly charged to that department. Idle time and overtime. Idle time is the difference between the attendance time and the job time. It is the time for which employers pay but get no benefit. There are different reasons for idle time. 1. Productive causes. These are the causes which arise due to production like breakdown of plant and machinery, waiting for work, waiting for tools and raw materials, power failure, tea breaks, waiting for instructions or supervisors, shifting of workers from one job to another, and so on. Number 2, economic causes. The seasonal nature of industry is the economic cause of idle time. Such idle time is normal and can be controlled by the management. Number 3, administrative causes. Administrative causes include underutilization of productive capacity in the period of depression. This cause is uncontrollable. Number 4, abnormal causes. Strikes, lockouts, floods, major breakdown of machinery, fire, and so on are the abnormal causes. These causes are beyond the control of the management. Now let us look at the treatment of idle time cost. Number 1, normal and controllable idle time should be charged as an item of factory overhead. Number 2, normal but uncontrollable idle time may be charged to job by inflating the wage rates. Number 3, abnormal and uncontrollable idle time should be charged to costing, profit and loss account. Now let us look at overtime. Overtime is the time for which the worker has to work more than the actual time. For this, workers are paid double than the actual wages. If the overtime work is necessary and is done at the request of the customer, then overtime wages should be taken as a direct charge and to be recovered from the job itself. Whereas in the case of abnormal factors like breakdown of machinery, it should be charged to costing, profit and loss account. Now let us look at the methods of wage payment. Labor is one of the most important factors of production. Thus, optimum wages should be paid to the workers as the success of the business enterprise to a great extent depends upon the efficiency of the workers. There are some factors which are to be considered before adopting any particular method of wage payment. Number 1, it should be easy to understand. Number 2, minimum wages should be guaranteed to every worker. Number 3, it should be flexible. And number 4, it should be in the interest of both the employer and the employee. There are two methods of wage payment. Number one, time wage system. Time wage system is the oldest and most common method of wage payment. Under this system, workers are paid according to the time for which they have worked. Wages are determined by a certain formula, which is wages is equal to number of hours worked into rate per hour. This method is suitable in case the quality of work is of utmost importance, strict supervision is possible, jobs are highly skilled, and so on. The advantages of time wage system. A. The time wage system is simple to use and understand. B. It gives a sense of security to the workers. C. Better quality of products is produced. D. Trade unions also prefer time wage system. And E. This method is economical. The disadvantages of the time wage system are: A. Lack of motivation. This system does not provide any difference between efficient and inefficient workers. B. Strict supervision is required to ensure better productivity. C. Idle time increases. And D. Soldiering is the common practice in this method. Number 2. Piece wage system. Another method of wage payment is the piece wage system. Under this method, a worker is paid according to the quantity or the amount of work completed, irrespective of the time taken on the job. Wages are determined by another formula, which is wages is equal to number of units produced into rate per unit. This method is suitable when methods of production are standardized and the job is of repetitive nature. Personal skills of high order is not required, and more physical work is required than mental work, and so on. Now let us look at the advantages of piece wage system. A. It provides incentives to better workers. B. Less supervision is required. C. It makes the costing easier. And D. A fair method of calculating wages is practiced. The disadvantages of piece wage system are: A. Feeling of insecurity amongst the workers. B. The lowers quality of products which may be produced. C. Fixing the equitable piece rate is difficult. D. Trade unions does not prefer this method. Incentive wage plans. To remove the defects of time wage and piece wage system, incentive plans are introduced. This plan combines the benefits of both the system and incentives are provided to the workers for their hard work. The main objective of the incentive plan is to increase the productivity by giving incentives in the form of bonus or higher wages to the workers. Now let us look at the basic characteristics of incentive plans. A. Minimum wages are guaranteed to all workers. B. Efficient workers are given incentive in the form of a bonus. C. Standard time is fixed and the worker is to perform within the standard time to earn higher wages. Now let us look at the kinds of incentive plans. 1. The Halsey Premium Plan. Under this plan, minimum time wage is guaranteed to all workers. Standard time to perform a particular job is fixed, and if the worker finishes his job in less than the standard time, he is given a bonus. The amount of bonus is 50% of the time saved. Wages is equal to time taken into rate plus standard time minus the time taken into rate into 50%. Now let us look at the advantages of the Halsey Premium Plan. A. It is very simple to understand. Both the employer and the employee get the benefit of the time saved. C. Minimum wages are guaranteed to every worker. The disadvantages of the Halsey plan are: A. The worker will be benefited only to the extent of 50% of the time saved. B. Difficulties in the determination of standard time. And C. The quality of production may suffer because the worker may do the work in a hurry. Number 2. The Rowan plan. The Rowan plan also guarantees minimum wages to the workers. But under this plan, bonus is in proportion of the wages of actual time taken, which the time saved bears to the standard time. Thus, total earnings of the worker will be calculated as time saved divided by standard time into time taken into hourly rate. The advantages of Rowan plan are: A. Guarantee of minimum wage to every worker, and B. Both the employees and the efficient workers are benefited by this plan. The disadvantages of the Rowan plan are: A. Difficult to calculate and understand, B. Under certain circumstances, a very efficient and comparatively not so efficient worker earns the same amount of wages. Number 3, Taylor's differential piece rate. Under this plan, no minimum wage is guaranteed to a worker. Two piece rates are determined. The low piece rate is given for low production and a high piece rate is given for high production. According to him, standard time is fixed and the worker who finishes the work before the standard time will be paid at a higher rate, and the worker who cannot complete the job within the standard time will be paid a lower rate. The advantages of Taylor's piece rate are: A. Distinctions between efficient and inefficient workers are made, and B. It encourages workers to be efficient. And the disadvantages of Taylor's piece rate are: A. No guarantee of minimum wages are given to the workers, B. Great differences of amount in the high and low rates are there, and C. Treating human beings as machines. Number 4, the Merrick multiple piece rate. Under this system, instead of 2 rates, there are 3 piece rates for 3 categories of workers, that is beginners, average workers and first class workers. This system is liberal for the efficient workers, but this system does not guarantee minimum wages to the workers. So that is all we have for you today. Hope you have understood the most important chapter, that is labor, of cost accounting. We'll meet you again with another topic on cost accounting. Till then, take care and goodbye.